What we're looking at here is the anterior forearm. This is the anterior surface, proximal, distal. This is going to be lateral on the thumb side and medial on the pinky side. We have a common origin of the first layer of muscles in the anterior forearm. That is the medial epicondyle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 muscles all originating from the medial epicondyle. I'm going to set the model down and show you that you have a built-in study guide in your own arm. If you look at your anterior forearm, you do 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the medial epicondyle. You have those 4 layers of the first row. Pronator teres, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, and flexor carpi ulnaris. Now let's go back and look at those on the model. From the medial epicondyle, this first muscle, which has a rotational action, is going to be pronator teres. Pronation is a rotational movement, so we have to be at an angle to make that rotational action. The second muscle is one that is a flexor because it's on the anterior surface. It goes down to the carpal bone, and it's on the radial side, so we call this one flexor carpi radialis. The next one is a muscle that goes to the palmar aponeurosis. It has a very long tendon. This is Palmaris longus. Then we have a flexor that goes to the carpal bones on the ulnar side, flexor carpi ulnaris. There is a mnemonic for remembering these in order. PFPF stands for pronator teres, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris. That is our first layer of muscles. If we take this first layer off, we see a group of muscles here with 4 tendons on the model. This is supposed to represent flexor digitorum superficialis, and you can see this very clearly on the cadaver. The tendons of flexor digitorum superficialis are going to attach to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th phalanx, middle phalanx, and they will allow you to flex your fingers in this fashion. On the same layer, on the model it shows it on the bottom, but here it is. This one goes to your thumb. This is our flexor pollicis longus, and flexor pollicis longus goes to the base of the first distal phalanx. And then you can see the tendons on this model of our flexor digitorum profundus. Flexor digitorum profundus goes to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th distal phalanx, and it allows you to flex just that distal phalanx. One thing you do not see on this model is if we were to pull this back and go deep, going across from radius to ulna, we would have our pronator quadratus. So we have 2 pronators, pronator teres, and then down here very deep is pronator quadratus. It's not shown on this model. We do see on the ulnar side a nerve and an artery. This is the ulnar nerve, and in red the ulnar artery. And then on the radial side we see the radial nerve, and right down the center running with the radial nerve is our median nerve. Running with the radial artery, is the median nerve. Down here at the base of the wrist, you see this aponeurosis that goes across. This is your flexor retinaculum, and that forms, it's continuous with the extensor retinaculum, and it forms a little girdle around your wrist to hold all of those tendons in place, and it forms the carpal tunnel. We have 10 structures going through the carpal tunnel. That's 4 tendons of flexor digitorum superficialis, 4 tendons of flexor digitorum profundus, the tendon of flexor pollicis longus, and the median nerve. Okay. So the ulnar nerve and the ulnar artery and the radial nerve do not go through the carpal tunnel, and you can see Palmaris longus attaching that palmar aponeurosis also does not go through the carpal tunnel. One note on the innervation: most of the anterior forearm muscles are innervated by the median nerve. And if we pull our first layer and our second layer off, we can see that median nerve running right down the middle. All except 1 1/2 muscles of the anterior forearm are innervated by median nerve. The 1 1/2 exceptions are going to be our flexor carpi ulnaris, which is innervated by the ulnar nerve, and the two tendons, the two most medial tendons of our flexor digitorum profundus, which are also innervated by the ulnar nerve. Everything else is innervated by median nerve.